Welcome everyone to some more Goblins vs. Gnome card reveals. Alright, so tonight IGN released an exclusive card that's going to be in GVG. So because of that, we've hit our 3 marks, so we're going to cover over them. Alright, so let's get started with the first card they revealed. The Shield Maiden. Okay, it's a warrior card. This is a card people actually voted for over a pirate. Alright, I'm going to go off on a little tangent here. First of all, I know it's a warrior card and everybody was expecting, it's like, oh, we need to see what warriors are going to get because, warrior control is so powerful, blah, 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 whatever. Doesn't matter. Pirates are awesome. You always pick the pirates. It pretty much goes pirates, dragons, occasionally murlocs, and then rogue shit because, well, Miracle is awesome and painful at the same time. So, but no, we went with the most vanilla, bland gnome ever. Alright, so let's take a look at this card and try to see where it fits. Alright? Okay, so 6 mana. Automatically, you're competing with Sylvanas, Cairn, and such. Okay? Battlecry gained 5 armor. They've already got a spell that does the same thing, so you have to ask yourself, am I going to trade the spell for this? Well, the spell gives you a card draw. Well, this is a solid body. This is a good tempo play against Loatheb, but in all honesty, this probably will not see use in the current, warrior control deck. Somebody might actually design their own new kind of thing, right? Could maybe mid-range warrior. I could see something like this. But in the current format that we have in Hearthstone for ladder and in competition, I really don't see this Shield Maiden actually being all that good. Now, there are other formats that are out there, and I want to touch on this. One of which is known as the Highlander format, which is basically there can be only one, as in one of any card. So in that kind of format, I could see Shield Maiden actually having some value because you're only going to have the one shield block. This gives you another one. So yeah, sure, cool, maybe in that. Arena, however, arena value, this girl's actually really good. But you have to ask yourself, at 6 mana, am I going to play this or am I going to play a Boulder Fist? 9 times out of 10, you're going to play the Boulder Fist. I'm not going to lie, but this is also another great drop to get. Because if you try to hold out for double Boulder Fist, you're probably not going to get it. But if you can get one and then this one, that's actually pretty decent. So yeah, alright. So now we're going to look at the second card. Jeeves. Okay, so it's a 1/4 for 4 mana. That is horrible stats, even by arena standards. That is horrible. So, because its stats are horrible, it should have a really good effect, right? Alright, so let's read this. At the end of each player's turn, that player draws until they have 3 cards. Okay, so if you're a control player, and this gets played down by your opponent, who's, let's say, aggro, the aggro player gets a huge benefit off it. This is kind of like a jerry-rigged Divine Favor for every class now. In some ways, it's a little bit better than Divine Favor, because normally Divine Favor, you had to wait till they had 3 or more in order to get that many cards. So, yeah. Typically, we're probably not going to see this used all that much, maybe in a mech aggro deck, probably, where you're just, pumping out minions. And because of things like, the Mech Warper, which makes them cheaper, okay, so you're probably going to be putting out more than you normally would of regular minions, to where Jeeves here actually makes a lot of sense. One little side note, Shakadin is probably going to get a rebirth, and I do see this card as being somewhat viable for that, so I kind of like that. I do. But when I first saw this, the first initial thing was, yes, because aggro needed card draw. That's pretty much it right there. But other than that, the card is not all that spectacular in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so we're going to move on to the final card. This card was revealed by IGN as an exclusive. So let's take a look at it. The Foe Reaper 4000. Yes, because apparently 2000 and 3000 were kind of, Meek, I guess. So, Foe Reaper 4000. Alright, so let's look at the stats before we get to anything else here. It's 8 mana. Congratulations, you're competing with Ragnaros and Kel'Thuzad and a couple class legendaries. Alright, so it's a 6/9. Okay, you're actually really very close to Kel'Thuzad's stats. Okay, so let's look at its special ability. Also damages the minions next to whoever he attacks. So if this goes face, you take 6. But you have a taunt up, and you got minion on each side of the taunt. Well, he's going to hit the taunt for 6, and he's going to hit the 2 minions on the side of it 6. That's kind of interesting. I like that. I like that. Do I think this card is good? Kind of. Not really. The only time this card is good is in aspect of like changing the game up. Like, okay, say you and your opponent are just trading minions back and forth, back and forth. You get this guy down. There's not much. He's not going to play 2 minions. At best, he might play 1 just to kind of, you know, stop this from getting through. The fact that this guy gets under BGH is a good thing. But then again, so is Kel'Thuzad, and his effect is a lot more synergistic with a several amount of cards. This guy, on the other hand, is an explosive shot on a stick with where the side damage is actually equal to its main damage. So that's a little bit. I mean, nobody really plays explosive shot. All right, same reason here. It could be cool if this card actually became popular, which there is a possibility. Mech warpers, innervates, things of that nature could get this guy out earlier, and that could set some really good like tempo for the mid game for, say, a druid. Which, yeah, druids could exploit the hell out of this because they have so many ways of jumping up their curve. But at that point, you have to ask yourself, do I want to play a Foe Reaper or do I want to play a Ragnaros? It's a tough call. It really is. But there are a couple things that, when I saw this, I kind of instantly thought about. It just, you know, jokes, haha, hee hee. Okay, so whatever damages a minion, other minions take the same amount of damage. Which means, if you hit, like, the lowest minion, and let's say you get this up to 9, really easy to do. Okay, so you hit a 1/1, you're going to lose 1 here, but that 1/1's next to a giant. Oh, giant's dead. So this is definitely going to force people to have to pick where positioning is. Most of the time, positioning is really effective for cards like Direwolf Alpha or Flame Tongue Totem. So Shaman and Zoo players have had to learn through experience on that. Other classes, however, are going to get a very rude awakening if this guy becomes popular. The general rule of thumb here is you put your taunts on the outsides of your minion stack. You never put it in the middle. You never put your big guys next to your taunts. You always put your shit minions next to your taunt. You got to plan that too. And the reason why is he's going to have to hit the taunt unless he silences. All right? Do you really want your like best offensive tool next to the thing that's automatically going to get hit? Fuck no. So you're going to have to really pay attention there. Interesting side note though, using taunts in general is not going to protect your board. But Defender of Argus and Sun Fury, in combination with other minions, will actually be quite beneficial. Because he'll have to pick which taunt he's going to go for, and then he kills the Defender of Argus and the Sun Fury with it, still leaving one other one on the board. Now, in Shaman, you can get some real hilarity out of this because of Wind Fury, though who's going to play Wind Fury? But it's possible. So Wind Fury plus Rockbiter. Yeah, he can pretty much take on anything. You know, it's like, oh, there goes taunt, oh, and half his board, and there's the rest of it. So, yeah, it's an over-convoluted board wipe. It's kind of cool in some ways. Do I think this card is going to see a lot of play? It's competing in a very tough spot, to be honest with you. I mean, if you try looking where you could put this, all right, so let's look at Paladin. Do I play this or do I play Tyrion? Tyrion. Okay, do I play this or do I play Ragnaros? Ragnaros. Do I play this or play Kel'Thuzad? Depending on the design, but most likely Kel'Thuzad. So, I'm not really sold on it. Its only redeeming value is that you can get it out cheap because of mech warpers. So, there's that. I mean, you could technically. Oh, I actually did the math on this. If you get 2 mech warpers out, that drops him down to 6. Throw in an innervate. GG at that point. But, I mean, you could also do the same with Ragnaros, and actually you could do turn 3 Rag. You could also get this guy out turn 3 as well. But is that really going to be beneficial? I think in Druid it would. Yeah, that would be a huge tempo play, because it's going to deny board state for, like, almost every one of your opponents. But, I don't know. I'm not all that too convinced that this is that great of a card. There's a lot of other cards that are in that same mana cost that are probably going to be played more. All right, so that's the latest 3, all kind of interesting. Now remember, just because you're afraid of a certain class, don't make that dictate what you're actually voting for to see what they're getting. Always vote for the pirate. There's like 120,000 people who raged all over multiple forums about why the hell did people not pick the pirate. And then I like to point out, why the hell didn't you vote? Anyway, so this is a Shiv saying thank you very much. We will be doing Mekkatorque's workshop on this Monday, or today actually, rather than on Tuesday due to scheduling issues between me and Knox. So don't forget to tune in. There will be a link down in the description. Thank you very much, and good night.